Today on the workbench, a brief review and do some modifications to this IBM T42 business class laptop. This laptop came out in about 2003 and it sold for about $3,400. It is a pretty stout computer. They still have a good following today. They did make several in its class, T40, T41, T50, T60, etc. Let me go ahead and power this down and we'll review it. This computer came out with Windows XP Professional on it. It is 32-bit architect. Has the nice black matte finish. Kind of hides the fingerprints pretty good. On the side here we have this bay right here is where the hard drive is. This is a CD burner / DVD player, and then it has support for a VGA monitor. On the back we have the power jack, and we have printer port, which is bidirectional. And on this side we have two USB 2.0 jacks, S-video jack, a modem jack, a LAN jack, headphone and microphone, air vent, Kinnison lock, and then two slots for PCMCIA. On the front here we just have the lid latch, and when you open it up you're presented with a 15.6-inch LCD monitor. At the bottom of the monitor you have lights for your Wi-Fi, sleep, battery or AC power, and hard drive activity. On the front here we have an 86 key keyboard, individual up and down arrows. We have a little joystick, touchpad with your left and right keys, and center keys. It also has function keys, which will allow you to access magnifying glass on the space bar, as well as other options such as sleep, toggle between monitors, the laptop or an external monitor, as well as turn up the brightness for the monitor. Besides the function key, we also have dedicated volume up and down with mute. This here's your power on-off button, and over here we have the access IBM button. When you have the installed operating system of Windows XP, it also has a small partition set up for the recovery files, and by pressing this button it'll bring up that menu to allow you to do recovery or rescue or even create another set of recovery disks. This little hole, these two little holes right here are just ventilation. Underneath this area is where the CPU fan is at, and the actual CPU is more down this way. Once we open this up we'll be able to see all that along with the heat pipes. It uses 64-bit DDR SD RAM, non-parity. The factory installed RAM is PC2100 at 266 megahertz. It has two sockets, 200-pin SDIMM. It comes factory with either 256 or 512 megs. It supports up to 1 gig RAM per slot for a maximum of 2 gig. The RAM that I'll be replacing, the factory RAM, is going to be Kingston 333 megahertz RAM, 1 gig each. For CPU, the processors that it came with are the Intel Mobile Pentium M class at 1.3, 1.5, 1.6 gigahertz. My model has the 1.6 gigahertz. All models have 1 meg of onboard L2 memory cache. This laptop also has infrared, so you can transfer files and printing at speeds of up to 4 megabytes. So it's going to be interesting to try out some of my Sony video cameras to see how that works. They also come with a built-in 56K V.92 modem. Some models came with either a 10100 or a 1 gigabyte LAN. My model actually has the 1 gigabyte. They came with dual band wireless 802.11ab, which is plenty fast enough for streaming movies, playing games or whatnot. Also on selected models, Bluetooth was added. My version here does not have Bluetooth. The AC adapter input is either 100 or 240 volts AC. with an output of 16 volts DC at 4.5 amp. For battery, it uses a Li-ion battery pack, either a 6-cell or a 9-cell. With a 6-cell, you're projected at getting 5.5 hours, a 9-cell at 7.5 hours. For operating system, as I mentioned, it came with Windows XP Professional. However, the neat thing about this laptop is you can install OS2 Warp, Microsoft Windows 98 2nd edition with USB 1.1 support, along with Windows 98 Gold with USB 1.1 support. You could also install Windows NT 4.0 Workstation with Service Pack 6A with no USB support. You could also install Windows 2000 Professional with Service Pack 0 through Service Pack 3, and that'll give you USB 2.0 support. As mentioned, Professional XP is what came installed. You could also install Home on this. One of the other neat things about this laptop is you could install Windows 7, which is something I have done. I would imagine you could install Vista, and I will also try at some point installing Windows 8.1 and Windows 10. Now, none of these models came with a floppy drive. That was an accessory add-on. As far as the hard drive, they use a 9.5 millimeter format, scaled down from the 12.5, I believe, from the T40s. They came standard with a 30 gig, a 40 gig, and an 80 gig. Mine came with a 30 gig. We'll be upgrading it to a 100 gig. The interface is ATA. They either came with a 4200 or a 5400 RPM. Luckily, mine was 54, and that's what the replacement will be, as well as 5400. As far as the graphics controller is concerned, it used one of 4 video chips, either a 16 megabyte ATI Mobility Radeon, a 32 megabyte ATI Mobility Radeon 7500, a 32 megabyte ATI Mobility Radeon 9000, or a 64 megabyte ATI Mobility Radeon 9000. Mine has the 32 meg. I don't remember if it's the 7500 or 9000. Seems to work out just fine for its purpose. As far as the resolution is concerned, if it was the 16 megabyte ATI, then that only gave you the max of 1024 by 768. Otherwise, it had resolution from 640 480 all the way up to 2048 by 1536. At 640 by 480, it offers 60, 72, 75, and 85 hertz refresh rates. The physical specs on this is it's 12.2 inches wide, 10 inches deep, 1 inch in height, and with battery pack and CD-ROM installed, it weighs just under 5 pounds. As mentioned, one of the add-ons was a floppy drive. This is a USB floppy drive, and it works out really nice. It also has the same matte finish as the laptop, and so it pairs up really, really nice. The pigtail on this is about 18 inches long. I had almost forgot to mention the bottom of the laptop. On the bottom, we have the battery with lock and latch release, docking port connection. Under here is 1 stick of RAM. For the other, we have to remove the keyboard, and then we have the COA right here. And as mentioned, the docking station. Nice and small. When the laptop is seated on it, it has a nice little incline, so it kind of lifts the computer up easy for the hands. And as you see here on the side is the key, and when that's removed, you're unable to remove the computer. You can see those latches releasing. On the dock station, we have the key on this side. On the top, we have the release button. We have a power button, which you could use this button or the button on the laptop to power it up. On the back side, we have telephone modem jack, we have LAN jack, CRT monitor jack, and yes, as you see, we have a DVI jack. This does not produce a HD picture. I believe it only goes to 1024 highest resolution. We have 4 more USB 2.0 jack. We have microphone and headphone jack. We have a RS-232 jack, a printer jack, a future expansion jack, and we have standard keyboard and mouse jack, and the power supply jack. Now this is different than what is on the laptop itself, so you cannot interchange them. The power supply unit for the docking station is rather large and rather heavy, which is great. You know there's some meat in there, and it should handle the load is fine. The cable that's included on the power supply for the docking station is rather long, probably on both sides a good 7-8 feet long. Offers Velcro to help wrangle it when it's in portable use. Nice heavy cable and a nice heavy jack. I was rather surprised, however, that it's only a 2-prong outlet and not a 3. So let's go ahead and get started and tear this computer apart. it is with Windows 98 SE installed. I still need to update the rest of the drivers. Got a few of them installed that will complete the rest of that off the camera. I also wanted to mention the battery before I end this video. As you notice on your screen about this battery, it was manufactured 11/25 of 2005. Again, this laptop came out in about 2003. The manufacture date of the laptop is February of 06. If this is not the original battery that came with the laptop, then it's a very early battery. The battery is able to produce 60 minutes standby time, just sitting idle, no playing, no surfing, which is rather impressive. I plan on upgrading the battery, but I was really impressed with its vintage status, and it's still working. So with that, I will conclude this rather long-winded video. I'd like to thank you very much for hanging on this long, and I hope we both learn something cool and interesting. Please like and subscribe, and until the next video project, be good humans, and I'll see you then.